What makes the worst movies? Well, here's a list. Frankenweenie, Alice in Wonderland, Pocahontas, Wizard of Oz, and Batman and Robin. I don't get these movies at all. Some people also don't, which I'm with those people. I don't get why Alice in Wonderland and the Wizard of Oz have to be so strange and kind of creepy and weird. Makes you think a crazy man built it. His psych gun went off on a trip to a land called Wonderland, called Alice in Wonderland. A lot of you are thinking that the of Oz, some of you at least, think this is the best movie ever. I don't really, because the Tin Man, that weird line, and that weird guy far to the left, who I have no idea who he is, because I barely remember the movie. It's the same as Alice in Wonderland. A girl put in a crazy land that looks like a bunch of psychopaths could go in here. A lot of times I ask myself, why is this a children's movie? I'm starting with the craziest of the bunch, the Tin Man. A lot of people probably like this guy, or all the characters, but they're too weird. And that pinhead doesn't help either. His murdering axe makes him look like he's gonna kill you in your sleep. Let's just say this is no child movie I would let my kid watch. Just my opinion. Okay, first a Tin Man, and then a freaking lion that can stand up and has courage. I don't get it. A lion would just eat the girl. If I were the Tin Man, I'd be hitting that guy with the axe because he's gonna eat me. Gonna turn me into a tin can because he's so freaking huge. He could probably kill a lot of people. Yeah, if this were a kid's film, I think it wouldn't be the greatest. I mean, it is a kid's film, but it's not good because it teaches a lot of interesting things to your kids. One thing I would probably teach my kids is never to watch this movie because they'll end up loving lions. Like this. Frankenweenie. A movie where a kid tries to revive his dead dog. Similar to Frankenstein, and in the end, his dog dies permanently. Or so we thought. We thought there was going to be a message behind this, but it was boring and there was no message. There was no message at all. A lot of times, a Frankenstein-esque plot goes wrong. Anytime you're trying to revive the dead, it ends up failing. Like zombies. This kid started the zombie apocalypse with his dog. Pretty interesting. He just created a monster. Good job, kid. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just gonna have to label this movie as a fail. Because they were supposed to, I thought it was going to mean something in the end, like, don't try to revive the dead. Other people probably think otherwise, but I'm just saying, there could have been a point behind this movie. Would have been pretty cool. Alice in Wonderland, labeled as the Disney classic, probably the classic of all time, is not exactly a classic at all. In the end, the girl disappears. The only normal person disappears from Wonderland. And nobody knows what happens to her. I just don't get it. From the Cheshire Cat to the Mad Hatter and the Queen of Hearts, I have to say, this has to be the most crazy movie ever because a lot of people who made this movie must have had something wrong with their head. Gonna have to label this movie as a epic fail because of the way it was executed. It was pretty bad, honestly. It didn't make sense at all. Somehow she ends up in a crazy wonderland. Makes you think she must have been in a mental hospital while she was asleep or something. Heavily criticized from when it was even shown because of its historical inaccuracy. A lot of people didn't like the movie Pocahontas. A lot of people thought it was really, really freaking bad. But its ending sucked, and a lot of things sucked in it. Crap load of them. I'll describe it. Here it is, people. The worst movie of all time. I've got 2 words. Bat nipples. Let's just say this isn't the greatest movie of all time either. It's the worst. The reason why is the awful plot, cheesy jokes, terrible actor for Batman and Robin, dork, and the obnoxious Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. A lot of times I ask myself if this movie's about Batman or his trusty sidekick, Robin, the guy who's usually a part of the movie because a lot of times they show him and less Batman. And the Batman's dialogue was boring, and so was Robin's. I don't get it. And they were saved by Batgirl, which is also a downer. Not that I'm against females saving males, but this is bad. Have to say, I gotta label this movie as the most epic fail of all time. I have to say, it's worst. Worst of all time. That is the end of this video, and that is the end. Goodbye, audience.